Alrighty, g'day guys. Welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. You're here with Steve and Tazza for our a midweek preview this week. Got some midweek games, a few catch-up. I believe these are catch-up games for a couple that were missed over the weekend of the Queen's passing. So we're going to jump in as always to our game of the week. Tazza, there is one game actually that I will just quickly mention. This midweek, was supposed to be Arsenal v City, which for sure would have been game of the week, and that would have been an absolute belter, first versus second, but postponed. Not too sure the reason behind that, but it is postponed. So we're going to have to look somewhere else, and we're going to look at Manchester United and Spurs, Old Trafford. Our time, it is Thursday morning, I believe, Perth time. Look. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm not going to say it's going to be a good game. It's going to be an interesting game, and the reason I'm not going to say it's going to be a good game, it's obviously got potential, but I'm not going to sit here and say this is going to be a firecracker, because it's not. The way that these two sides play, they play very similarly. They play, they'll play that defensive, they'll play that counter-attacking style. It might not be the most appealing game to watch, but in terms of importance on the table, it had to be this one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're two Big Six teams. We love to go to a Big Six matchup. And yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, it's got stalemate written all over it, unfortunately, given the fact that these two teams' tactics are kind of going to cancel each other out. It feels like it's not a fire and water against each other. It's just two rock solid, well, whether you want to call them rock solid, but just two rocks coming together. What do you expect is going to happen? But I mean, we look back to past fixtures, and it's been pretty fruitful in terms of goals. I mean, United in their last three fixtures have banged in 3 goals every time, and consequently have won all 3 fixtures. So, I mean, to sit here and say that, but then look back at the past fixtures and say that it could be drab, I mean, probably sounds silly, but these are two different teams than we're used to really looking at, especially with United under Ten Hag. It's a bit different than the days of Ollie, but yeah, Spurs. I think they're sitting equal second with City now after their loss against Liverpool.
Yeah, just goal difference separates it.
Yeah, so they're flying high. I mean, I don't think anyone would have put them on level pegging with City at this point of the season, but there they are. And I mean, United have spluttered. They've shown promise. Their 0-0 draw against Newcastle was pretty average. It was pretty sluggish. It was a bit, whatever.
Yeah,
it was an average game. I'll put it that way. But these two teams will come to play. These Big Six matchups mean a lot. You always want to be getting maximum points from these kind of matchups, because that's the barometer for being around the top of the table. You need to be grabbing maximum points. So it hopefully we do see a good game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we like to look at the head-to-head as we do. We tend to just focus on the previous 5, but look, I was just looking before, and this. I mean, this obviously goes back to the beginning of the Premier League, or the beginning of when stats were basically data was collected. 60 games these sides have played. United have won 38 of them. Spurs winning just 10. I mean, this, and being at Old Trafford as well, it plays a factor, but heavily favoured in the way of United. Now, look, majority of those 38 wins are going to come from their golden era of 10 odd years ago, but it's not this is sort of little things that you look at, and it's not it's not for the best of viewing for Spurs fans. But yeah, I mean, both sides have shown promise at times, and both sides have showed chinks in the armor. United are the only team to knock off Arsenal so far, and then they get trounced by City the following week. Like Tottenham, they were terrible in the North London derby. They were poor. Arsenal ran all over them. But then they beat Chelsea in was it opening day or week two? They one of those two really early on. They beat Chelsea. So yeah, I'm not sure which way this is going to go. To be perfectly honest with you, I think if I had to pick one, I think I'll go. I think I'd back Spurs away from home here. To be honest, theatre. I mean, I know I've just said that Old Trafford plays a factor, but we've seen Spurs do it before. I know it was at an empty Old Trafford, but they still put six past them. I'm not saying they can put six
Mm,
past them here, but I think maybe maybe a 2-1, something like that. I think Spurs are just better on the counter attack at the moment. Harry
yeah,
Kane and Son, they're just a bit more superior in terms of Rashford and um, Ronaldo if he plays on in terms of on the break. And I think Conte's got this Tottenham side solidified a lot more defensively than Eric Ten Hag does United. So I think I'll have to back Spurs this time around.
yeah. I think Spurs seem a little bit. They're a bit more clinical at the moment. I think with that front three, they're taking their chances when they arise. Um, and yeah, I'm probably going to go Spurs, and the scoreline sounds pretty well spot on to me. 2-1 Spurs would not surprise me at all. And I mean, Man United, their total wins. I mean, you look at any team, they're probably ahead of
Yeah,
anyone.
that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Such was the golden era of Sir
Mm,
Alex Ferguson.
mm,
I mean, they trounced everyone for years. So, I mean, that's what gives United the stature that they currently have is those golden years. I mean, United will always be a big club, and it's because of that.
mm.
So, depends which way you read it, but well, it doesn't matter which way you read it. They are big because of that, and if you look at those total wins and that win column, I mean, it does count for something. It counts for why United are such a big club. So yeah, look, but Spurs get it done here. I think just too clinical for mine.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, it's not gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting nonetheless. But if there's a lot of United fans out there, I know a couple of Spurs fans too. So let us know your thoughts below. Who you think's gonna win? Walk away with the points here. It's important nonetheless. It's what could be defined as a 6 pointer in these early stages in a current battle in the top couple of the top six teams. So yeah, I suppose we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But yeah, make sure you let us know your thoughts below. All right, Tazza, our unpopular opinion segment. This is a little bit different to normally, but it is still technically a part of the unpopular opinion segment because overnight the Ballon d'Or awards were held, and the subsequently the top 25 list was brought out. Every year, there's always some talking points in this top 25 list about names who were included and who weren't, and just who finished where. So that's what we're going to talk about today because we've had a little look through, and there's a couple in there that we think are probably a little bit surprisingly, maybe a little bit in the wrong positions, maybe a few that are questions as to why they're even in there at all. But first of all, let's get out the most popular opinion. Karim Benzema, he took it out, and that was just the most deserved award I think we've seen for a while. Benzema, Champions League winner, La Liga winner, scored goals in both competitions for fun, led the team. We called it after they won the league. After they won the Champions League, actually, even that he was going to win it, and he did.
Yeah, yeah. He's the most popular, other than Robert Lewandowski when he should have won it.
Mm,
I'll
yeah,
add. I
yeah.
mean, he was a very popular
Mm,
would be recipient who didn't
yeah,
win it, which was
yeah.
robbery,
Mm,
whatever you want to call it. It was terrible, but Benzema definitely deserved it. And like you said, we called it. He's led Real Madrid to a double. What more? What more can you add? He's definitely deserving.
but let's start with maybe a most surprisingly one. And no Messi in the shortlist. He doesn't even make the top 25. I mean, he didn't have. Sure, he didn't have the best of years in the his first season at PSG, but like it's Messi. This is almost Messi's competition, and he's not even in it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I know we like to put them right next to each other and compare, but Ronaldo didn't exactly have a great year either.
Mm,
And somehow he's stuck in at number 20, but Messi doesn't have a spot. I mean, I don't swing each way on the GOAT debate, but I think their years were comparable. I
mm.
mean, they weren't, I couldn't say one was clearly better than the other. So for one to be there and the other and Messi not, it was quite odd. I thought he definitely deserved a place towards the lower end. I don't think he was a star at all this sorry the year just gone, but definitely deserved to be there.
So who raises an eyebrow for you here?
Um, I mean the stats don't lie, I guess, but Sebastian Haller at number 13. I we talked about this earlier. We're pretty sure he was the top scorer in the Champions League.
Mm, I think you might have been.
Um, I get it. It's a huge deal, but if you're not winning it, I don't know why you're ranked that highly. And I know he had pretty good league form as well for Ajax, but the Eredivisie is a one man team is a one team league.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
it has been for a long time ever since when PSV aren't doing great, then
Mm.
it's a one man league for Ajax. But I don't know, 13th. I look at the players below and I think some of them could have been higher. Um, I mean, I think Fabinho had a great year. Um, like Harry Kane. I mean, Bernardo Silva was great last year. Um, and he's down at 22. Haller at 13 just doesn't sit that well with me.
Yeah, I agree. It's an odd one for sure. I mean, I would even go. I would even say Ronaldo needs to be higher
Hmm.
than 20. I think he scored 20. I think he still got 20 league goals, maybe just shy of 20 league goals last season. So he um, still put in a fair amount of goals.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
so, but I mean, yeah, the facts and I don't think Haller's played many games for Dortmund. I believe a health issue has actually kept him away from the team. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just a 13 seems a little bit high for me as well, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think likewise, someone who's probably a little bit higher than he should be. And I mean, and I love the guy, but Sadio Mane finishing second. I mean,
Mm.
after after the year that Mo Salah had, it was the debate and the discussion that we had was whoever wins the Champions League between Liverpool and Real Madrid would determine whether it goes to Benzema or Mohamed Salah, because Salah had a blitzering start to the season. He well and truly tapered off towards the end, which maybe is a bit of a factor, but he still shared. Did he share the golden boot last season as well, or did he fall just short of that? I can't remember, to be honest,
I
who
can't
ended up
remember.
taking it out, but he was up
Yeah.
there. I think he had 23 or 24 league goals
Mm.
last season. Um, I just I think Mane is just maybe that little bit too high. I finishing second. I think maybe if you swapped Mane and Lewandowski around, I don't think you'd get an argument from many people, given the
Mm.
fact that Lewandowski finished with the European Golden Boot, or the what do they call it, the Gerd Muller Trophy, the top goal scorer in Europe. Um, I think he deserved to be higher. Lewandowski's been one of the, if not the best goal scorer for the last two seasons with Bayern.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Mane is just. I mean, I love Mane obviously for what he did with Liverpool, but I just think second is maybe a little bit too high.
Yeah, it's definitely not any salt coming from us as Liverpool supporters. I mean,
No.
I wish him all the best, and what he did for Liverpool, he'll go down as a Liverpool legend. Still love him. He's absolute gun. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a second kind of year for me. It was a good year, but not a great year,
Mm.
and that's what it takes to be for me second in the Ballon d'Or. So yeah, Lewandowski. Anytime you're the top scorer in Europe, I think you've got to be in the conversation for winning the whole thing. So I wouldn't have been surprised to see his name in the top three.
Mm.
So yeah, odd one for me. The rest of the list I think is pretty good. Obviously, there's 4 players in the top 10 for from Real Madrid. There's Courtois, Vinicius, Modric, and the aforementioned
Mm.
Benzema. So I mean, they doing the Champions League and League double is to be expected. Isn't really any real surprise there.
No.
City feature pretty heavily, but not too much in the top, apart from De Bruyne.
Mm.
But and to me, again, that's quite fitting. He was instrumental in what City did. But
Does Darwin
yeah,
Nunez deserve to make the top 25 shortlist, in your opinion?
he. I mean, if you're putting Haller there,
Yeah.
Sorry, Nunez was quite good. His league form was unreal, albeit in the Primeira Liga in Portugal. So, I mean, 34 goals, I think it was for Benfica. It's a fair record. So, yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if he wasn't on the list.
Mm. Yeah,
I'm not
34
sure
goals
how.
in all competitions for Darwin last season.
Yeah, yeah, it's a huge return.
Got 6 in the Champions
Um,
League in 10 games, to be fair.
yeah, and I mean, if we're putting Haller at 13,
Mm.
then using that same metric, then Nunes definitely deserves to be there
Mm.
because 6 in 10's a fairly decent return, especially for a team like Benfica who aren't going to go. I mean, if he's played 10 games, they got through the round of 16. I'm guessing, so they went out the round of 8.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they got
so
knocked out to Liverpool, whichever round
to
that was.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, it would have been in the round of 8. So I mean, and he played his best football against Liverpool,
Mm.
really, in those 2 legs. I think he scored. Was it 3 across the 2 legs, or was it
Like
just 2?
he got. Did he get 2 at Anfield? He might have got. Yeah,
Mm,
it could have been 2 or 3. Could have been 2 or 3.
yeah. I mean, regardless, he was by that metric, he probably deserves to be there. But if I think of his start to the season, and I'm not sure how much they weight the the start of the next season or the current season into the rankings,
Mm.
but he's far from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, anyone would say that. I mean, even we can say that, and more so, opposition fans are going to say that. But yeah, it's obviously you're going to take a full season's worth of stats and football over a small sample size of 8 games at a new team. So
Mm.
perhaps he does deserve to be there.
And to round it off, the under 21s player of the year was awarded to Javi or Gavi, however you pronounce it, from Barcelona. This is the wrong decision for me. I think this goes to Jude Bellingham.
Yeah, yeah, I think so as well. I think it goes to me. Bellingham had a great season last season. Don't get me wrong, but he has also taken it to another level this season so far, especially in the Champions League. He is just pulling Dortmund along. He's scoring goals for fun from midfield in the Champions League. It's been quite a thing to watch, but yeah, yeah.
Well,
I don't know. It could go either way for
the
me.
top 5 reads this: Javi, Camavinga, Musiala, Bellingham, and then Nuno Mendes from PSG. Now, Camavinga, you can maybe make an argument that he deserves to be there because he's with Real Madrid. They won Champions League double. how much of an influence was he in that team? I
Mm,
must admit, I don't watch Real Madrid every week. He could have played a bigger part and a bigger role in the side than perhaps what I'm thinking. Um, Musiala's probably been the best bloody player for Bayern Munich this season, at least. Again, last
yeah,
season, don't watch Bayern Munich every week. I don't know, but Bellingham is basically touted to be that next star midfielder. Um,
mm,
in terms of, or definitely for England at least. But he's got plenty of pedigree to his name already. I definitely expected him to be high. I expected him to take it out, to be honest.
yeah. To not be in the top three is pretty awful. I would have thought he'd definitely be there. Um, yeah, I probably think that Camavinga does have a bit of that Real Madrid boost.
Mm.
I mean, with you win trophies, whatever, but yeah, how important was he to that team with Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro in that team? I mean, Casemiro even I think he made it to number 17, and that's not on the back of his work at United. Absolutely not. That's all Madrid.
Mm.
So Camavinga, I'm not too sure about that. I wouldn't have been surprised if Bellingham was second. I think that's if you could switch them two, Camavinga and Bellingham.
Mm-hmm.
That's I probably don't have too many qualms about that. But to have seen Bellingham take out the whole thing would not have surprised me either. He's been great.
Yeah, and I just think Gavi had a breakthrough year for sure. I think he's probably the youngest one there. I think he was only 17 when he broke through to the first team.
Mhm.
Um, which I don't know how much the age plays a factor into it, but yeah, he's not done what like Bellingham's done for Dortmund. He's not done that for Barcelona as of yet, but um, that's just my opinion, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, we in this category we sometimes see a few flashes in the pan and guys that we think might go on to be the next big thing for their respective teams. But I genuinely think for these four guys that they are the future of. I mean, Bellingham probably moves on next season, but he is the future of whichever team he goes to.
Mm.
So if he does go to Madrid, as some people are talking about, how do you fit Camavinga, Chouameni, and Bellingham in the same team?
That would be the
Wow.
midfield three of the future once Kroos and Modric eventually move on as
And
well.
I suppose they are getting on in age, but
Yeah.
far out. Um, I think if the links to Liverpool turn out, then he can 100%. That's his team,
Mm.
and he will lead Liverpool into the next 10 years, into the non-Klopp era. Um, Gavi is Barcelona's golden boy, along with Pedri. So those two will anchor that midfield for years to come. Musiala, 100% with Bayern Munich. He'll lead that. He'll lead them for years to come. And I mean, yeah, we spoke about Camavinga and the Real Madrid midfield, the young midfield. All those four players are just going to be stars.
Yeah. Well, that'll wrap it up for this short. Well, I should say short, not the shortest, but that'll wrap us up for this segment and for this video in general. So yeah, let us know your thoughts if let us know your top five. I think if you didn't think Benzema deserved to win it, I think you would live it under a rock. But yeah, I'm interested to know thoughts on a couple of other top fives out there. I think there might have been certainly a few different top fives out there. I can imagine most people picking Benzema to win it, but yeah, let us know your thoughts below. Be interested to hear it. But yeah, Tazza, that's going to wrap it up. We'll thank everyone for watching, and we'll catch them all in the next one. We'll look forward to the following, to this weekend's fixtures even. So we'll see you then. Cheers.